years, Michael has developed close relationships with much of Hollywood's A-list. From Elizabeth Taylor to Brooke Shields and Michael Jordan, E.T. has been there when Michael made headlines with his famous friends.
We have been friends and have loved each other since when we were both very young.
Brooke can certainly attest to the fact that to be a friend of Michael, one must steel oneself for an intense media onslaught. This particular crunch at a 1991 video release party had the two in good humor.
No dancing, no dancing.
Their frequent public appearances meant a lot of speculation at the time about a possible romance.
Beyond friends and beyond the deep love that we have for each other, it's hard to trivialize it and say it's platonic or it's not platonic.
Brooke was with Michael at this AMA party in 1984. Also there, a young Emmanuel Lewis.
We always had a great time, you know, laughed, tell jokes. No one really seen that side of him.
They've stayed close for years, and Lewis was quick to defend his friend this year after the airing of Martin Bashir's searing documentary.
None of that, any of that makes any of it the truth. I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will. He's always been a friend, not just of me, but my whole entire family.
Another who Michael befriended at a young age was Macaulay Culkin, again with a media crush always in hot pursuit.
Stay right by the tree, right where you are.
10 years after this romp through Disney World, Macaulay was there for Michael's all-star salute in 2001.
He's just a sweet person, and I'm very happy to have him in my life. I think one of the great things about our relationship is me and him could just act like kids all the time, and that's kind of what we do.
Macaulay is the godfather of Michael's first two kids.
How are they doing?
Oh, they're doing great. They're beautiful. They're beautiful, and they just keep on getting bigger. I think, you know, as normal of a life as Michael can give them, the better.
A lot of Michael's friends were at that salute.
I think a lot of people are going to be like this because he always puts such a spectacle on.
Watching him years ago, who would have thought we would be here performing with him? He's such an inspiration to all of us.
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm very excited.
Liza invited Jackson to her wedding 6 months later. His date, Elizabeth Taylor. These two have been the closest of friends for years. He hosted her 1991 wedding at Neverland Ranch and gave the bride away to Larry Fortensky. Jackson has often had his friends do music video cameos with him. He was trading moves with Michael Jordan for Jam in 1992.
I'm learning certain moves from him, but at the same time, I'm a teacher.
Naomi Campbell shared this hot scene for In the Closet, also in 92.
People kind of make him out not to be normal. He is normal as anyone I've ever met, and he's a sweet person. To me, he is a wonderful person inside and out.
Friendship with Michael was often accompanied by rumors of romance. On his 1988 tour, one backup singer was a little-known Sheryl Crow, immediately linked by the tabloids to Michael.
We both laugh about it. It's so common for him. Every woman that he's worked with, his makeup artist, his wardrobe girls, everybody that he comes into contact with that's a female, he winds up being in the tabloids with. It just so happened that in the particular tabloids that I came out in, I was having his baby, which was different than before.
Rumors about Michael and Madonna flew after this date in 1991.
As you look back on that, what was driving you, that image?
My need for approval and attention.
Of course, E.T. has charted Michael and his friends for decades. This 1986 opening for his Disneyland Captain EO attraction brought Hollywood's A-list.
I like Michael Jackson, and I want to see what it is he's doing now.
8 years later, in the midst of the child molestation controversy, Michael's surprise appearance at the NAACP Image Awards was met with a standing ovation because, as they always have, Michael's friends stood by him.
I love Michael. I pray for Michael.
Coming up next, Michael in the 80s.
From Beat It to We Are the World, we are on the road with Michael with the kind of backstage access you can only get on E.T.
Sorry, I gotta take 5 minutes. Mary? Maybe.
Later, Michael's close call and what his mother told us about plastic surgery.
Plus, the lost performance not seen for almost 30 years.
As we continue with Michael Jackson Exposed.
Michael Jackson Exposed. The 1980s will be remembered as the decade he became the king of pop.
With hit after hit, The Moonwalk, We Are the World, it was Michael's decade to shine. And I'm Maria Menounos is here with more incredible moments we uncovered in the E.T. vault. Maria?
Mark, imagine what it must be like to travel with Michael. Well, you don't have to imagine it, because in the 80s, he was constantly on the road, and E.T. was with him every step of the way. His hopes for true love.
To find the right person and to go off somewhere for a lifetime, be happily married, I guess.
His enduring loneliness.
When I'm not on stage, I'm not as happy, and everything seems to be foreign to me or new. And I'm just now beginning to enjoy friendship, which is new for me.
His dreams for the future.
I want to entertain people, bring some type of joy, escapism, magic to the world, and I feel that's what I'm here to do. I'm honored to have the job.
In the 80s, fans hung on Michael's every whispered word because he enjoyed staggering success. Thriller, released in 1982, became the best-selling album of all time, with 51 million copies throbbing around the world. Pepsi paid him a then unheard of $10 million for his endorsement.
I wanted something that the whole world could see.
With We Are the World in '85, Jackson won a Grammy and earned humanitarian status.
He does good work, what we call the points of light concept.
1987's Bad, with its record-breaking world tour, sold nearly 7 million copies within 1 week of its worldwide release.
Sorry, I gotta take 5 minutes. Mary? Maybe.
During this whirlwind, he always had time for E.T., as Mary Hart literally held his hand backstage, calming him.
I think it's got to be one of the most incredible feelings in the world. To know it's your show and to feel there's a whole excitement and frenzy about it.
Mary even joined the Jackson pre-concert prayer circle, which evolved into a good old-fashioned yell. These adoring fans never saw what our E.T. cameras captured. We shadowed Michael as he created his massive hit, Beat It. Jackson gave us unprecedented access to the filming and editing sessions. Much of the time he seems disinterested, even reading a newspaper. But he is aware of each split-second sound, and he personally okays barely perceived background sound effects.
I still need some yells once they jump.
Clearly at the top of his career, Michael still seemed discontented.
Eventually I want to do film. That's what my dream is to do, film as well as song, to integrate them together. Realism, nothing is plastic. Real feeling and belief. That's what I understand. Bring the world together through love, peace, joy, for man to live together. That's the whole thing.
Before the shroud of secrecy enveloped him, Michael lived a sometimes open public life. When the play Dreamgirls premiered in Los Angeles, he gave E.T. his review.
It's the most incredible play I've ever seen. It's brilliant. Everybody should see it.
But for Michael Jackson in the 80s, there was a growing sense of how isolated his life had always been.
I was raised on stage, and I'm happy on stage. I can sleep on stage. When I'm off, it's another story. It's hard to relate to people in everyday life. I'm comfortable on stage in front of thousands of people.
That love of performing took Michael around the globe. For 1987's Bad World Tour, he even brought along one of his most talked about companions, Bubbles the chimp. He was becoming a true legend, and other stars sought him out. Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley brought their daughter Alexa to a sound check and visited backstage.
It's Michael, all right. She can't believe it.
But there was no denying Michael was gaining his reputation as an eccentric. Quincy Jones, who produced both Thriller and Bad, defended his friend against charges that he was out of touch with the real world.
Many times he puts on disguises, and goes out everywhere. People don't even know he's there. I know my daughter. They take little adventures, and they could run away from all the bodyguards, and they go off and do their thing. The Beverly Center, everybody freaks out. They're having a ball over there, just looking at some little stupid toys or somewhere. The same when we shot the Bad video. We went up on in 22nd Street, you know, for hours and hours and hours, you know, sneak off and go to these little restaurants, and he's connected.